Alright folks, we're going to be playing some Arcanum, so hope you're excited for that. Um, yeah, it's a mix of fantasy and steampunk elements. It's available on GOG. People have compared it a little bit to Fallout in terms of tone. It's a great CRPG game as far as storytelling and world building go. I've heard mixed things about the mechanics, but I have yet to play it, so let's see. If you're curious, there are some opening scenes. There's like a little opening CG thing that I had to skip just because my video was making it all really choppy and horrible looking, and there was flashing lights everywhere, and it just wasn't a great thing. So we're just going to pick on up and keep playing the game. Hopefully things work out for the better. Muck Evil Eye was born in a remote ogre village, the offspring of an unusual union between a male and hystrig wide thighs. Okay. The son of an elfin hunter. So we can pick one of these characters, or we can make our own. And, these portraits are great, and they also subtly build the tone of the book, the story. I mean the portraits, yes, and also these little bio texts are nice too. Solomon Dune was born in the 13th son. Alright, this music's a little loud. I'm gonna be turning this down. This is my desktop. Okay, burp. And that's good for that. So hopefully that's good enough. Alright, that sounds good to me. Let's pick... well, I'm gonna be finicky for a bit. Don't worry about it. Don't mind me. Don't mind this. Ho ho ho. Hopefully that's not that. Okay, so Lugard Bloodstone is a miner's son, and over the front door of his home is a plaque that reads, "Any work not done with your own hands is no such thing." Unfortunately, as a child, Lugard seemed to excel at what his father dubbed senseless tinkering, and young Lugard's birthday gift to his father was a steam-powered shovel. And he studied long and hard, and looked to the day that he might study among the great inventors and scientists of Tarant. Lugard's father is old-fashioned, but also wise. Upon completing the dwarven rite of adulthood, Lugard has been permitted to enroll at Tarant University, and he booked passage on the IFS, Zephyr, bound for the greatest industrial city in all of Arcanum. Victoria was the daughter of nobility, one of the lesser families who lost both land and power in the aftermath of the Great Wars. As the years have passed, the Warrington name has come to mean less and less, but the family has survived, and holds on to much of its past glory as society will permit. Victoria is the youngest of 3 daughters, beautiful and quick-witted. Okay. She has local taverns in disguise, hungry for stories, a strong glass of ale, and a game of dice. Having been educated in the finest schools of knowledge and magic, she is a model of strong character and good breeding. The Tessera family is an old one, and Balan has been raised with one standard, elven honor above all. She has been taught true elven ways from birth, and holds them like a gemstone. Magic and warcraft are as familiar to her as the sun through the leaves of her treetop home, and she feels a strong kinship with nature and her mysteries. But not all is right in Arcanum, and Balan has been chosen by her people to get out into the world and see what is to be seen. And although her heart breaks to leave the comfort of man, I'm really struggling with words as usual. Leave the deep elven forest she has always known, there is a peculiar excitement she feels aboard this airship. Okay. Okay. Until a while ago, Clarice had a bright future. Having recently moved to the city from a small town, she had apprenticed herself to a well-respected doctor and was well on her way to earning her advanced degrees in the anatomical and therapeutic disciplines. She was a gifted student and a quick learner. That all changed when it was discovered that the small town she was from was actually an orcish tribe. Times and attitudes being what they are, has been asked to leave her apprenticeship. All of her friends have abandoned her, and her landlord has evicted her on social grounds. In hopes that the new world has shed such prejudices, she has purchased a ticket on the IFS Zephyr, bound for Toronto. Carré Melange has lived in two worlds. Arrakis and... just kidding, just joshing you. Her father was born a human politician and her mother an elven sorceress. She has learned to be a little of both, having grown up both in the elven villages and bustling cities. She has come to appreciate the powers of adaptation and persuasion. She has always excelled in everything she has done. Curie also remembers arguments between her mother and father concerning the nature of magic and technology, and why one was better than the other. After studying them both, she has concluded that both have merit, and that each has its place. After all, she thinks, if you can't live in two worlds, you're obviously trapped in one. Having come to that conclusion, this very afternoon she has purchased a ticket on the IFS Zephyr, bound for Toronto. There's a new world, she wants to be in it. We've proven his various technological disciplines, random acts of theft and pilfery. Although not an evil child, his dresser was often full of ill-gotten possessions of his friends and neighbors, as well as the occasional gold leaf religious relic from a temple in the nearby human village. When young Merwin's taste began drifting to explosives and the contents of the local treasury, his parents thought it time to take action. Merwin has boarded the IFS Zephyr en route to Toronto, where he's enrolled in the spring semester at the Westrel Military Academy for Promising Young Men. Needless to say, he is less than exuberant over the whole affair. Godfrey Castleberger. Let me say that again. Godfrey Castleberger. What? Is that a real name? Oh. I guess that's a real name. Oh, well now I feel like an idiot. Grew up in the rolling hills of his family's estate. The son of a wealthy and influential businessman, Godfrey was tutored daily by all of the best teachers, and excelled in economics and the dialectic method. In his free time, he was trained by a master in the technological discipline of gunsmithy. Alright, I'm going to stop right here and say I'm probably going to be playing a Magic-based character. Just because based on everything I've read, the game is incredibly imbalanced and punishing toward people that choose technology. And that's kind of a flaw in the the structure of the game, considering, as I guess you're hopefully getting out of this, that there's like this whole contest between science and magic and which one has its place in the world. It's very much like Mirror Shades. I mean, not shit. What am I saying? Mirror Shades is the... crap. My mind is really blanking on me. Wow, I just shorted out. But it's, you know, that one role-playing game set in the future. They just had a Kickstarter game released that was panned. And then they released another campaign that was lauded, and it's about, like, the future and cyberpunk fantasy stuff. Shadowrunner. Yeah, Shadowrun. It's kind of like Shadowrun, but in a steampunk setting. At least tonally, that's kind of what I'm getting from it. Let's see. But the whole thing is based on duality, but there's like a complete imbalance as far as like mechanics go. Maybe they were going for one to be more difficult than the other. I don't know. I haven't played the game yet. I've just read about it. Horace McGinley was born under a bad sign. An orphan from birth, he found himself daily Be oh my goodness, gosh golly, why do you watch this show? Horace McGinley was born under a bad sign. An orphan from birth, he found himself in daily battle with life and its particular quandaries. After running away from various homes and institutions, Horace found himself on the streets, homeless and hungry. Carving a niche for oneself in such environments is difficult, but Horace was anything if not determined. After falling in with a group of local street thugs, Horace was quickly learned the ways of combat and thievery, and even began dabbling in the ways of magic. With the money to buy from a few successful heights, Horace booked passage on the IFS Zephyr in Toronto. To Toronto. It's not that life won't give you an... Okay. Just relax. It's not that life won't give you anything, he thinks. It's just all in the way that you ask. By stealing. Alright, now we're coming full circle. I think I haven't read Dralenor and Solomon Dune. Oh, there's so many. There's so many. Alright, well you know what? I'm just gonna read all of them, because I'm enjoying this part of the game so far. An ogre female whose appetites tended toward the exotic, because we read the first sentence already, just telling you it was from earlier. Muck grew up an outcast, scorned by his fellow ogres, because of his human heritage. He frequently found himself fighting because of aspersions, cast at his family and his character. I actually don't know what that word means. If you could tell me in the comments below, I would be grateful. I'm guessing it's some sort of insult, but or like slander. In time, he became the most feared, if not the most despised, warrior in his village. Muck, because of his human blood, is a tad smarter than the common ogre. Upon hearing of employment opportunities in the New World for half-ogre bodyguards, he has taken a job in the boiler room of the IFS Zephyr in exchange for passage to Toronto. I'm gonna feel real silly if it's not pronounced Toronto. Pretty sure Zephyr is right, though. Dren Lelor is a dreamer. The son of an elfin hunter, Dren found himself more interested in the history of Arcanum than he did in bowmanship, although he was quite proficient in the latter as well, and was often found in the library poring over ancient texts and manuscripts. Magic came easily to him, and he spent much time studying the ancient runes while his friends were off engaging in contests of physical skill and horseplay. Oh, you know that good old horseplay. To Dren, the world is a large and wonderful place, so tonight, after leaving a heartfelt note to his parents saying he would return soon, he has stolen away to the nearest town where he has booked passage on the IFS Zephyr. Oh man, look at all these interesting and exciting people we can play. Solomon Dune was the 13th son of Durzen Dune, the most evil necromancer in a long line of evil necromancers. It's like Valgar, or Vagar, Valor, Fruit Crack. It's Valgar, right? Yeah, Baldur's Gate 2? Alright, cool. Peace. It was the night of the full moon, and Solomon's mother, a frightful witch whose body was covered in strange birthmarks of the most evil shapes and configurations, died in childbirth at the stroke of midnight. Basil Gertz, the twisted one-armed midwife who delivered the child, remarked that Fairgirl, the Dune's black house-cat, had crossed the threshold into the room just as Solomon uttered his first cry. Oh, he's ill-omened. Ofttimes fate is not subtle. After a family dispute that left most of the Dune clan unrecognizable or immobilized, Solomon has purchased a ticket for Toronto on the IFS Zephyr. He doesn't bother looking at the seat number. The 13. This is probably going to be 13. Heal rate 3, reaction modifier -7. I don't know what all of these stats mean. I'm guessing this is Dex, this is Charisma. Constitution, intelligence, these are all average. Okay, the story of AC adjustment. I'm guessing this goes just by when it was released by the old school 2nd edition D&D kind of rules, where negative AC is a good thing, because you add the AC to the person's combat roll. Like, somebody will roll to hit you, and they'll add your AC to their roll, so if you have a really high AC, they're adding a bigger modifier. At least that's how I always thought of it. The story of Merrick Lugerton is not an unfamiliar one. Born into abject poverty, Merrick lived with his family in a one-room shanty, working at odd jobs in the factory district, not quite, of the city in which he lived, orcish wages being what they were. The family had a lot of trouble putting food on the table. As in many orcish ghettos, there was great demand for pugilists, and many were the men who placed bets on the outcome of a brawl between two strapping young half-orcs. Merrick found himself in the ring one night, and upon winning, had more than a month's wages. Merrick fought, and Merrick won. Having taken care of his family, he's purchased a ticket for the IFS Zephyr, in hopes of finding a new and better life in the great city of Toronto. This is a good motivation. This is like an immediately likable character. At least in my eyes, anyway. A lot of them are great. But Lugger Blowstone. I'm guessing that an analysis of like racism in fantasy settings is going to be part of this. Cause it's stupid, and you shouldn't oversimplify. Don't give me that alignment bullshit. I'll elaborate on that later, folks, if you care enough to hear. But, we already read Luggard, Victoria, Balan. Interesting. So he's kind of a swashbuckling young thief. He's a little bit too pretentious, even for me. I mean, is he just supposed to be really hard to play or something? Like, is that the point? Is that he just has really mediocre stats? Now, is a negative reaction modifier good, or? No, it doesn't look like it. Yeah. Yeah, because all the kind of dex-based characters seem to have really low ones. With higher speeds. Oh, what's the difference between the speed and the dex? Oh my gosh! Is it like... I don't know how combat works in this game. I think I'm supposed to set it to turn-based because real-time is like terrible. I'm not reading too intensely into this. I'm gonna pick one that seems feasible and just kind of go from there. I'm probably gonna set the difficulty to easy just because I'm in this more for the lore, obviously. Well, I mean, hopefully maybe that comes across than anything else. I almost want to pick a science-based character despite what I said, just to scavenge inventory management, micromanage. But, no. It's been him, her. I like her as like a character. You know what? She's a little bit... She's like obviously magic. She doesn't see Hmm. Maybe this is a bad choice. I don't know, but I'm gonna go with it because I like her. I think she's a cool character.